The streets of Atlanta are on fire again, and this time it's Karlie Redd lighting the match. Fans were already buzzing after the latest Love and Hip Hop Atlanta trailer dropped, but nobody expected the chaos that followed. Whispers turned into screams when Karlie allegedly dropped Rasheeda's real ones about Kirk Frost living a double life. Yeah, that Kirk Rasheeda's man. The one who's already been at the center of so much scandal, he could write a book. But this was different. This wasn't just cheating rumors. This wasn't just drama for cameras. This felt personal to courting. To the online chatter, Karlie didn't just spill tea, she poured a whole boiling kettle. The kind of receipts that made fans rewind the trailer and start playing detective. There's talk of hidden bank accounts, mysterious trips, late-night meets, and even whispers of another woman no one saw coming. And while Kirk's keeping quiet, his silence is speaking volumes. And when fans saw that shady smirk on Karlie's face in the trailer, it only added fuel to the fire. Did she plan this? Was it revenge? Or is Karlie finally exposing something Rashida should have known all along? Buckle up, because if the rumors are true, Atlanta's about to explode all over again. Karlie Redd has always known how to stir the pot. But this time, what she did sent shockwaves through Atlanta like never before. When the new Love and Hip Hop Atlanta trailer dropped, fans were expecting drama. Sure, some flashy moments, a few emotional confessions, maybe even a couple of shady looks across the reunion couch. But no one was prepared for what followed. In just a few seconds of trailer time, Karlie managed to flip the entire storyline on its head. Her face didn't show rage, it didn't even show sorrow. It showed quiet confidence, the kind of confidence that only comes when you know you're holding the truth in your hands. And reportedly, she was. Rumors began flying the moment viewers caught a glimpse of her clutching what looked like a thick manila folder. Lips pursed, eyes locked on Kirk Frost. The clip didn't offer much audio, but what fans could read from her lips and her body language was enough to light up social media. Some claimed she said, "You lied to everyone." Others swore they heard her whisper, "I've got the proof." Either way, it was enough to ignite a firestorm. Within hours, the phrase Kirk's double life was trending. And fans started piecing together clues from past seasons like seasoned investigators. The whispers weren't new. Kirk Frost has long been the subject of speculation, from infidelity to secrecy. He's built a legacy of questionable choices. But what made this moment different was who was delivering the alleged truth. Karlie wasn't just any cast member. She had history with Kirk. She had experience in keeping receipts, okay? And most of all, she had motive. Years of side-eye glances, awkward silence during group scenes, and sudden tension between her and Rashida had laid a foundation that viewers couldn't ignore. So when she allegedly walked into the reunion holding papers, screenshots, and phone logs, it felt like the moment everyone had been waiting for. Fans online started breaking down potential timelines. One Twitter user posted screenshots from season 9, where Kirk was mysteriously missing for a few days, and pointed out how Karlie had been weirdly quiet during that time. Another fan dug up a clip from an old after-show interview where Karlie had hinted some people keep secrets because they're afraid of what happens when the truth gets out. At the time, no one thought much of it. Now it felt like a warning dot as word spread. Sources close to the production began leaking details. Nothing confirmed, of course, but just enough to keep the buzz alive. One source claimed Karlie's folder included flight receipts showing Kirk traveling alone during dates he claimed to be on family vacations. Another mentioned hotel bookings in a name suspiciously similar to an old flame Kirk once denied being involved with. And then came the real shocker, alleged text messages between Kirk and a woman who referred to him as her man. Even though he was very much still married to Rashida at the time, that's when the fans really lost it. Comment sections were flooded with disbelief, support for Rashida, and outrage at Kirk's silence. But what made everything hit harder was how calm Karlie seemed through it all. No screaming, no dramatic outbursts, just a quiet, controlled energy. It was the kind of composure that only comes when you know you've been holding on to something big for a long time, just waiting for the perfect moment to let it out. Behind the scenes, tensions were reportedly at an all-time high. Kirk, usually tight-lipped during drama, was said to have left the set mid-shoot, refusing to comment on the situation. Rashida, visibly shaken, was caught on camera walking out with her mic still on, telling producers, "I need a minute." And as for the rest of the cast, reactions ranged from wide-eyed shock to subtle smirks. Some knew this was coming, others had no idea. But no one could look away. What made the situation even more complicated was the timing. This wasn't just any season. This was supposed to be the big return, a redemption arc, a reuniting of old faces, a chance for Kirk and Rashida to finally move forward after years of ups and downs. But with Karlie stepping into the spotlight and allegedly blowing everything open, the entire dynamic shifted. Suddenly, the focus wasn't on reconciliation, it was on reckoning. And the fans, they were living for it. Memes started popping up within hours, some praising Karlie for finally exposing Kirk, others dragging Kirk for thinking he could keep skeletons buried in 2025. Fan pages started counting down to the full episode release like it was a national event. And in the middle of it all, Karlie stayed silent on social media, letting the footage and the rumors do all the talking for her. But even with all the chaos unfolding in front of the camera, insiders claimed there was more bubbling. Underneath, people close to the situation hinted that what Karlie showed on camera was only part of what she had, a teaser, if you will. Reportedly, the real dirt was in messages that were too explicit, too revealing to even air. Producers were said to be scrambling, trying to find a balance between explosive TV and potential legal risks. And Kirk. He allegedly threatened to walk off the season completely if the footage wasn't handled respectfully. Still, respect might be the last thing anyone's getting at this point. As the buzz continued to grow, so did the speculation about Kirk's double life. Questions started piling up. Who was the other woman? Was she still in the picture? Did Rashida know anything about this before Karlie brought it to light? And most importantly, why now? That last question had fans theorizing hard. Some believed Karlie had been sitting on this information for years, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Others thought she might have just discovered it recently and couldn't stay quiet. A few even wondered if this was her way of getting back at Kirk for something that happened off camera, something only the cast and crew knew about. Whatever the reason, one thing was clear. Karlie's move had changed the entire season's tone. It wasn't just about drama anymore, it was about exposure, accountability, and unraveling the web. Kirk had spent years weaving, and as each new clip, leak, and reaction dropped online, it felt like the walls were slowly closing in. Karlie had dropped the match. Okay, now everyone was just watching to see how far the fire would spread. The energy backstage was tense, like never. Before, cameras weren't even rolling when security was told to stay close to the dressing rooms. Karlie had reportedly requested a private moment with production, and no one knew what she was about to ask for. Rumors flew quickly. Some crew members whispered she wanted to show more evidence off camera. Others claimed she was asking for protection after receiving veiled threats. The only certainty was this: whatever she had brought with her, that day wasn't just for TV, it was personal. By the time the reunion taping resumed, the entire cast was on edge. Kirk didn't return to his seat. Rashida sat alone, staring into space, fidgeting with her rings like she was trying to pull herself out of a daze. When the host tried to steer the conversation back to safer ground, fans noticed how uncomfortable everyone looked. But Karlie, she sat straight, back tall, eyes forward, like someone who'd been waiting for this moment her entire life. Footage leaked later showed a never-before-seen clip of her speaking directly to the host, holding a single printed text message between her fingers. Her voice was calm, but her words cut deep. "This isn't about petty drama," she said. "This is about a man lying to his wife, to the world, and thinking he could keep walking like nothing happened." The studio went dead silent. Online. Fans started circulating freeze frames from the trailer and matching them to past moments. One side-by-side comparison showed Kirk wearing the same shirt in a hotel room photo as in an old vlog he had filmed with Rashida, but the timestamps didn't line up. The internet became its own detective agency. Reddit threads exploded with theories, timelines, and guesses about who the mystery woman could be. Then came the alleged voicemail. According to sources close to Karlie, one of her most damning pieces of proof wasn't a text, but a voice memo saved from months ago. In it, a woman with a soft Southern accent supposedly said, "I know you have to play husband on TV, but I'm tired of being your secret." Fans immediately began comparing voices, trying to match the audio with any known woman linked to Kirk in the past. It became a full-blown manhunt. And while Kirk stayed silent, Rashida's social media told a different story. Within hours of the trailer going viral, she unfollowed Kirk on Instagram. The timeline was undeniable. Then she posted a cryptic story, a black screen with white text that read, "Loyalty doesn't have a reset button." Fans went wild. Comments flooded her feed. Some were messages of support, others full of anger, not just at Kirk, but at how long Rashida had supposedly suffered in silence. Cast members began reacting too. Spice posted a tweet saying, "Sometimes the truth don't come out until people get tired of holding it in." Erica Mena liked several tweets that sided with Karlie. Even Yandy weighed in during a podcast appearance saying, "I ain't trying to get in nobody's business, but I respect a woman who brings the truth with proof." But not everyone was cheering. Some fans felt Karlie's timing was too calculated, too cold. They pointed out how the trailer hinted at her dropping the receipts just as Kirk and Rashida were trying to rebuild. "This feels like sabotage, not sisterhood," one commenter wrote. Others fired back, saying the truth can never be bad timing. It's just inconvenient when it ruins a lie. Then, another twist surfaced. A woman named Tasha, unknown to most viewers, claimed on TikTok that she had been involved with Kirk on and off for 2 years. Her video didn't include solid proof, but she detailed certain private details about Kirk's tattoos, bedroom habits, and favorite phrases that had fans raising eyebrows. "He always says I'm handling it when he's dodging responsibility," she said in her clip. Within hours, old clips of Kirk using that exact phrase in past seasons were circulating again. This added a whole new layer to the unfolding drama. Now, it wasn't just about what Karlie revealed, it was what others felt safe to reveal after her. More whispers, more screenshots, more claims started surfacing. One alleged ex said Kirk offered to fly her out to Miami in exchange for privacy. Another claimed he had promised to leave Rashida once the cameras were off. It was a digital avalanche. Meanwhile, production was reportedly scrambling. While some executives loved the viral attention, others worried the storyline was getting too messy, especially since Karlie had allegedly threatened to drop the full receipts online if her segment was edited. She had the fans' support, and she knew it. Every clip, every rumor only made people more hungry for the truth. And the more Kirk stayed silent, the louder the noise grew. Behind the scenes, sources claimed Rashida was devastated, not just embarrassed, but broken. She reportedly had no idea the extent of Kirk's alleged double life. One source said she had started questioning every business trip, every late-night studio session, every moment he had been unreachable. She's trying to keep it together for the cameras, they said, but behind closed doors, she's rethinking everything. What hurt most, according to those close to her, wasn't the betrayal, it was who exposed it. Karlie and Rashida had been through their ups and downs, but there was once a time they had each other's backs. Now, it felt like the ultimate betrayal, not just by Kirk, but by someone she once called a friend. As the episode continued, producers allegedly had to stop filming multiple times because of emotional breakdowns. One crew member reportedly overheard Rashida saying, "I just feel stupid," I defended him every time." Another claimed Kirk refused to return to set unless certain footage was cut. None of this made it into the trailer, but fans could sense the tension. There was no faking that kind of pain. Karlie, on the other hand, remained stone-faced. She didn't yell, she didn't cry, simply handed over her evidence and said, "Do with it what you want." It wasn't the delivery. Fans expected it was colder, more deliberate. And somehow that made it all the more powerful. Viewers couldn't stop talking about her transformation. Once known for her messy antics and on-again, off-again romances. Karlie was now being called the truth bringer of season 13, but not everyone saw her as a hero. Some still questioned her motive. Was this really about Rashida? One blogger asked. Or was this about revenge? It was a fair question. Over the years, Kirk and Karlie had shared a history that was never fully addressed. Rumors of flirtations, tension-filled conversations, and unspoken shade had lingered just below the surface. And now, with this explosive revelation, people began asking, was this about justice or getting even? The lines blurred more with every passing hour. Online debates raged. Fans picked sides. And as the cast retreated back to their homes and their phones, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't just a storyline anymore. It was personal. It was raw. It was far from over. Whatever came next, everyone knew one thing. The truth was out and nothing would be the same again. The fallout was immediate and it spread like wildfire. Within just 24 hours of the trailer dropping, fan theories evolved into full-blown investigations. Instagram Lives were hosted by bloggers breaking down every word from Karlie's mouth. Every reaction shot from Rashida. Every blink. From Kirk. People weren't just watching the show anymore. They were studying it like a crime scene. Timelines were built. Clip compilations went viral. And at the center of it all was one phrase. Karlie dropped the receipts. But what made everything more intense wasn't just what was being shown on screen. It was what was happening off of it. Several cast members had gone silent. Kirk didn't just ignore the situation, he reportedly refused to film a scheduled confessional scene. Producers were forced to pivot, sending a replacement camera crew to his car after he refused to leave the parking lot. According to a source on set, Kirk was pacing, visibly stressed, and kept muttering to himself. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. Rashida, meanwhile, kept her distance. Those who saw her behind the scenes said she wasn't lashing out, wasn't yelling, she was quiet. Withdrawn, one of the makeup artists allegedly overheard her say, "I don't even know who I married." It wasn't just heartbreak anymore. It was the realization that the life she thought she built may have been held up by lies. As all this played out, Karlie seemed to stand in the eye of the storm. Untouched, unbothered, and eerily calm. She wasn't posting, she wasn't responding to the chaos. Fans started speculating that she'd been planning this moment for months, maybe even years. Old episodes were revisited, with fans dissecting her every comment, every smirk. Every little moment that now looked like a breadcrumb she had dropped on the way to this final reveal. One particularly viral theory pointed to a season 11 scene, where Karlie made a cryptic comment to Kirk during a heated argument. She had said, "You better hope your secrets stay buried." At the time, viewers thought it was just a throwaway line. Now it felt prophetic. Everything suddenly had a deeper meaning, and fans couldn't get enough. More fuel was thrown on the fire when an anonymous blog posted what they claimed were email exchanges between Kirk and a booking agent using a fake name. The emails hinted at private out-of-town appearances and special requests, code fans believed for secret rendezvous. While nothing was confirmed, the damage was done. Kirk's image was already in shambles, and this only made things worse. But what really pushed things over the edge was the sudden appearance of another woman who came forward online. She didn't give her real name, but she claimed to have had a relationship with Kirk for nearly a year, and she had screenshots to back it up. Texts that showed flirtation, hotel arrangements, and most damning of all, messages where Kirk allegedly told her not to post any photos of them together because of the show. Fans were shook. This woman didn't seem to want fame. She didn't ask for followers or clout. She simply posted her story, dropped the screenshots, and disappeared. Some fans doubted her, but many felt it aligned perfectly with everything Karlie had suggested. The idea of Kirk living a double life was no longer just a theory. It was becoming something fans believed. And worse, something Rashida might finally have to accept. Inside the cast circle, things were growing even more divided. While some like Spice and Erica continued to support Karlie's bold reveal, others were less impressed. Bambi allegedly called the whole situation messy for no reason during a behind-the-scenes chat. One insider claimed, she said, there's a way to tell the truth without trying to destroy somebody's family. Even Scrappy was rumored to have confronted Kirk privately, reportedly asking him, "Is any of this true?" The answer Kirk gave wasn't shared, but the look on his face, according to the source, was enough to answer everything. Scrappy was later seen filming a one-on-one confessional where he looked visibly disappointed, shaking his head and saying, "Man, we're too grown for this." And then came the leaked footage. Not official, not polished, just a shaky behind-the-scenes clip that someone from the crew must have captured. In it, Karlie is seen walking out of a private room with Rashida following behind her. The two aren't yelling. There are no tears. It's just a long, tense silence until Rashida quietly says, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Karlie doesn't respond right away. Then she stops, turns around, and simply says, "Because you wouldn't. Have believed me. Have believed me." Then she stops, turns around, and simply says, "Because you wouldn't have believed me." That one line broke the internet. It didn't come from the main episode. It wasn't packaged with music and dramatic editing. But it hit harder than anything else so far. Fans flooded the comments with sympathy for Rashida and confusion about Karlie's true motives. Some believed Karlie had done what needed to be done. Others felt she had waited too long, that if she truly cared about Rashida, she would have spoken up before the cameras were rolling. It was a debate with no clear answer. Back in the real world, Kirk's businesses started to feel the heat, too. One of his restaurants was reportedly hit with a wave of bad reviews online, not about the food, but about his character. People were angry, disappointed, and ready to cancel him. Fans who had once rooted for Kirk and Rashida's rebuild storyline now felt like they had been lied to. How many times are we going to support a man who keeps doing the same dirt? One viewer posted, "Still, there were people defending Kirk. Some claimed the receipts were exaggerated. Others said we never actually saw the full proof. This could all be for ratings," a few argued, but those voices were quieter now. They were drowned out by the overwhelming roar of viewers who felt like the truth had finally come out and that it had been hidden for far too long. Amid all this, Rashida's silence was the loudest thing of all. No statements, no interviews. No response. Fans kept refreshing her page, waiting for something, anything, but nothing came. And maybe that was the most powerful reaction of all. Because sometimes, when you find out your whole reality has been shaken, there are no words. Just pain. As for Karlie, her power in this moment was undeniable. She wasn't gloating. She wasn't playing the victim. She was simply standing tall in the middle of a hurricane she had unleashed. She knew the truth, or at least her version of it, and she let it speak for itself. And the world listened. All of this, from the receipts to the silence, painted a picture of a reality TV moment that had bled into real life. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was betrayal, was exposure, was heartbreak. And no matter how hard the network might try to contain the fallout, the damage was already done. Too many people had seen it, felt it, and believed it. And now there was no turning back. No one could have predicted just how deep the cracks would go. The trailer had merely been a spark, but now the fire was consuming everything. Production was officially in chaos. Entire scenes had to be rewritten. Scheduled interviews were canceled because cast members either refused to be on camera or demanded to review their footage beforehand. The network was caught in the middle of a storm they didn't fully see coming. They wanted ratings, yes, but not at the cost of full cast meltdowns and real-life relationships falling apart on camera. Yet that's exactly what was happening. Sources from inside the production team began leaking more details, painting a picture of total collapse. Kirk had reportedly threatened legal action if certain footage aired. Some claimed he even contacted the network's lawyers, demanding the scenes involving Karlie's evidence be removed entirely. But Karlie wasn't having it. She allegedly warned producers that if they tried to edit her out or minimize her story, she would take it online herself, uncut, unfiltered. And unforgiving, the network found itself in a delicate dance. On one side, they had Kirk, a long-standing cast member with business ties and a deep fan base. On the other, they had Karlie, who had just delivered the biggest scandal the series had seen in years. And then there was Rashida, the heart of this show for many viewers, now caught in a public nightmare. What made it worse was that fans weren't letting this go. Social media wasn't moving on. Hashtags like #KirkExposed and #Justice for Rasheeda continued to trend for days. People dug up old footage, created timelines, cross-referenced dates. They started seeing the cracks not just in Kirk's story, but in the entire narrative the show had been trying to sell for seasons. Kirk and Rashida as the power couple who overcame everything. That story was falling apart. And it wasn't because of a messy affair or some vague accusation. It was because this time, the betrayal came with details. Receipts, voice messages, screenshots. It came from someone who had nothing to lose and everything to prove. And fans believed her. Backstage, Rashida's emotional state continued to unravel. One source claimed she refused to share a dressing room with Kirk. Another said she asked to be filmed separately for the rest of the season. She doesn't want to even be near him, someone on the crew shared. It's not about anger anymore, it's about pain. Crew members reported that she had long conversations off camera with both producers and close friends on set. At one point, someone heard her say, "I should have known. I just didn't want to see it." And that hit fans hard. Because Rashida had built herself up as the strong one, the loyal wife, the ride or die. And now that ride had crashed in the most public way possible. Meanwhile, Karlie was surprisingly quiet. She wasn't gloating. She wasn't online liking shady comments or dropping more hints. Instead, she maintained silence, and that made everything feel even more real. Because the Karlie of old would have been loud, messy, chaotic. But this version, she had dropped her bomb and walked away, leaving everyone else to pick up the pieces. Some cast members reportedly tried to mediate. Spice attempted to bring Karlie and Rashida into a room together off camera without producers, but Rashida refused. "I don't want her near me," she reportedly said. All right. Now, no one pushed it after that, even Mimi, who hadn't been involved in the situation at all, posted a cryptic message that fans couldn't ignore. "Sometimes it's not about who told the truth," she wrote. "It's about how long you've been living with the lie." Within minutes, fans flooded her page with comments. Many interpreted it as a subtle nod to Karlie's decision to wait until now to speak out. Others believed it was aimed at Kirk, a warning from someone who'd seen too much to stay silent anymore. Then came a new twist. Someone from Kirk's inner circle reportedly reached out to a gossip blog anonymously, claiming Kirk had been managing multiple relationships for years. The anonymous source shared that Kirk had rules: never let the women post photos, never meet them in Atlanta, and always use cash. While these claims weren't confirmed, fans saw it as more proof that the pattern had been there all along. Karlie just happened to be the one who finally said it out loud. More photos started surfacing, blurry, low resolution. Some even questioned their authenticity, but the damage was already done. Kirk's reputation was officially in shambles. What once was dismissed as old news was now being viewed as a carefully constructed lie. But what hit fans the hardest was the latest trailer clip, one that hadn't been part of the original preview. In it, Rashida is seen sitting alone. No makeup, no glam, looking into the camera and saying, maybe I was too loyal to someone who never deserved it. There was no background music, no dramatic zoom, just pain, raw, real, and completely unedited. That moment changed everything. Comments flooded in from fans who said they'd never seen Rashida like that before. Vulnerable, broken, not the boss chick with the fashion lines and the flawless hair. Just a woman who had believed in someone for too long and finally realized it had all been for nothing. Some fans turned their attention toward the network, demanding accountability. They asked why Kirk was still being allowed on the show, why no one had stepped in, why Rashida was being left to carry the emotional burden while Kirk got to stay quiet. But the network wasn't the only one facing heat. A few fans turned on. Karlie too. Some accused her of using the moment for relevance. Others said she only came forward when it would benefit her the most. The debate got ugly. But through all the noise, one thing stayed clear. The truth had come out. And it couldn't be undone. Even bloggers who usually played it safe began calling out Kirk directly. They questioned his silence, his refusal to speak, his avoidance of the issue. One popular podcaster said, "This ain't about TV anymore. This is about accountability," and Kirk's had none of it. Still, Kirk stayed quiet. No statements, no interviews, just silence. And in that silence, fans filled in the blanks. They assumed the worst. They believed the rumors, because in the world of reality TV, silence almost always equals guilt. The season hadn't even fully aired yet, and already the damage was irreparable. Friendships broken, trust shattered, and a marriage that might not survive the storm. All because one woman finally said, enough. And while Karlie's motives would continue to be debated, her impact was undeniable. She had changed the course of the show, of lives, of truths that had been hidden in plain sight for too long. It was messy, it was painful, it was raw, but above all else, it was real. So now that the dust is still settling and the truth, or at least parts of it, have been dragged into the light, the real question is, what happens next? Does Rashida walk away from Kirk for good this time? Or will she, once again, try to hold the broken pieces together? Will Kirk finally speak out and tell his side? Or will his silence continue to scream louder than words ever could? And what about Karlie? Was she seeking justice? Or just her moment in the spotlight? Is she the hero? Or the one who lit the match and watched it all burn? Fans are still divided, the internet's still buzzing, and nothing feels settled. Everyone has an opinion, but no one has all the answers. Not yet. What's clear is that Season 13 of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has flipped the script in a way nobody expected. The drama isn't just for the cameras anymore. It's spilling into real life. It's tearing at relationships, reputations, and long-held illusions. But now we want to hear from you. Do you think Karlie did the right thing by exposing Kirk's alleged double life? Should Rashida finally walk away? Or is there still something left to fight for? And what do you think Kirk is hiding by staying silent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this conversation is far from over. Don't forget to like the video if you're as shook as we are. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, and hit that bell so you're the first to catch every twist, every receipt, and every explosive moment. We're just getting started, and trust, this season is not playing.